When your partner tries to control you.
Like one of my friends, when he was trying to control everything she does. Everywhere, like the places she goes, people she talks to, controlling her phone, everything.
Yeah. When partner, and most people know this, but I will say it anyways. When when your partner's trying to control every single aspect of your life, they are extremely insecure people. That's a given. That, you know, if I was trying to control BB on every single thing that she does, that means that I'm so insecure with my own life that I don't feel like she should even be with me. And the only way that I can keep her with me is if I control everything that she does, make sure that she only sees certain people that I deem or I feel aren't a threat to me. And I don't allow her to do activities and things that might make me feel less of a man or make me feel like I'm not getting the attention that I deserve. I don't want her to have fun unless it's with me. So that's kind of, I guess, the control that we're talking about. In situations like that where this person's trying to control you, there's kind of like two different ways that you can go about that. There's the, I don't know, like the heartfelt way where you have empathy for this person and you say, you know, I don't know why you're so insecure right now and why you're trying to control me. But you know, this is something that's bothering me and I noticed that it's going on and we need to fix it. I don't really feel like that's the best approach because they're controlling you and they are pushing their insecurities directly onto you. And if it's to the point where you're having to have a conversation with this person, then they have hurt you. And they have willfully or unknowingly hurt you, and that's not acceptable. So the other way is basically, you know, to just step away from the relationship. I mean, that's kind of your other option, where it's like you have a sit down with them, or you know, you just kind of go, look, you know what's going on. You're controlling every aspect of my life, or trying to, and that's not acceptable. That's not going to happen, and I need to leave. So you have those two kind of like extremes, but like there is kind of a third one where you give them kind of the ultimatum where it's like, look, these are things that obviously you're doing, and it's not healthy for me. And the fact is it's not healthy for you, even if you think it is, but it's not healthy for any one of us. And these things need to stop. Now, getting that person to stop those things is really difficult. They need to, somebody that's that insecure, you're not the one that's going to make them secure, right? You could do everything perfect and they're still going to find shit wrong with you, specifically because they're so miserable in their own heads and in their own souls and bodies. So, that's a really, that you're really far down the line in a relationship or with a person when that starts to happen, or when you realize that kind of thing. Because the being that far into a relationship and noticing that kind of thing, that somebody's doing that, they've probably been doing a semblance of it or some variation of it for the whole time. But when it gets to that point where it's just like you feel smothered, that's really unhealthy. Like that's super, super unhealthy. That is, in a sense, traumatic. That's a traumatic experience when somebody is controlling you and manipulating you to that extent on a daily basis, and where you are constantly having to think about this person and how they're going to react to you just being a human being. When it gets there, or you find yourself in that position, fucking run. Get out of there. That said, it's been a manipulation thing for so long that a lot of times it feels almost impossible to get out or to to run from that situation. Or it's been such a kind of a progression into it that you feel like you're in this place where it's really not that bad. And the reality is it's fucking horrible, but you don't see it as being that bad. That's manipulation. That is a controlling person does that to you, where they do horrible things to you and they make you feel like it's not that bad, or maybe it's your fault. That's a really difficult place to be, and it's a difficult place to accept as to where you are, because you have to accept that you got fooled. And that's really hard for us and our ego. But there will come a time that you need to identify that thing, or that place. And there are specific ways to identify that place, and whether or not that's happening to you. When you are around, and one of them is when this person comes home, what happens to your blood pressure? Do you worry or are you happy? Like, that's a huge one. And it's not, it's not like when you guys are in the midst of almost breaking up where you're like, I just don't really want to talk to him. Not that. I'm talking about when you are fearful of this situation. You are fearful when this person comes home. When your blood pressure just kind of goes up and you tense. Like, that is a really good gauge of being in an unhealthy relationship and a manipulative relationship. When the first person you think of when you're going to go out with your friends is he going to be okay with this? That's, and in a way where it's like you have to get an okay from him. That's a really good sign that you're in a manipulating situation with this guy. When you're not dressing for yourself, when you're not, like when you get clothes on and stuff and you think, is this okay, or is he going to be mad if I'm wearing this? That's a telltale sign that you're in a manipulative relationship. If he's always worried about your friends, to the point where it's just easier for you not to go out, that's him manipulating you to do things that he wants. If you can identify kind of any of those 4 things that are happening in your relationship, that's definitely a time when you need to sit down and you need to really kind of assess with yourself, like, is this healthy for me or is this not? And talk to somebody else. Talk to somebody outside, somebody that doesn't know him and isn't one of those yes people, right? Isn't one of those friends that you have where whatever you tell them, they just agree with you. Get somebody outside that you can tell this story to and say what's been happening in my relationship. And these are kind of the things he does. What do you think? And they can give you a real answer on whether it's manipulation or not. And then maybe a way through that. But this is a really serious situation. And I say run, but you also have to identify and realize that you have the strength to get the fuck out of there. Or realize that you are in this situation, because a lot of people don't realize they're in this situation. So there's specific things that you start to ask yourself and realize looking at situations that you're going through, and then you can identify whether or not you are in this situation and then accept the fact that you are and then get the fuck out. So that's my answer on that question.